Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Hack, and I have a very important video for you today all about the best new and updated item sets for the Stonethorn DLC. Why is it important? Well, with over 200 new and updated item sets coming in with this latest patch, your build might be changing. I know that I personally have been updating many of the builds here on my channel, which you've probably noticed lately. And that's because these new and updated sets are very powerful. The great thing about this too is that if you already own these sets, they will be updated automatically and you don't need to refarm anything. So these are my top sets for the Stonethorn DLC. Let's get right into it. So let's start off with the new sets. These are obviously from the new DLC dungeons. That's going to be Castle Thorn and Stone Garden. Now, most of my favorite sets here are actually from Stone Garden, which is a really fun dungeon too, by the way, and it can actually be soloed on normal mode. So you might be interested in doing that once the DLC goes live so you can farm some of these sets. First off, we got the Arcesis Genius set. This is a pretty interesting set for maybe tank builds, maybe support builds, both in PvE and PvP. You can see every time you drink a potion, you and 3 group members gain 44 ultimate. Then we've got the Elemental Catalyst set. This is the light armor set from Stone Garden, and this has been changed about 3 times during the PTS cycle, but I still think it's strong and I still will be using it. You can see we've got great 2 through 4 piece bonuses, and then for the 5 piece bonus, you still can stack bonus critical damage on the target. 3% per stack now with a maximum of 3 stacks, so that's 9% bonus critical damage. I think if you are a support build, if you play a healer, if you play trials or even PvP, you're going to want to pick up this set because it's still very strong. Now I threw in the monster set here from Stone Garden as well, the Stone Husk set. I think this is pretty interesting. You do physical damage every second and then you can stack up bonus weapon damage based on how many targets you're hitting with this channel. This could be powerful, like I said, especially in PvP. You might want to watch for this. And then the final DLC set that I think is pretty interesting is actually from the other zone, that's Castle Thorn. And that's the Unleashed Terror set. This is another medium armor set, giving you weapon damage, stamina, and stamina. And then when you do a direct damage, charge, leap, teleport, or pull, you cause this huge bleed damage effect, almost 30,000 physical damage. Bleed again over 10 seconds, so it is a damage over time. But that's a lot of damage, so I could see this fitting very well on some solo bleed builds, possibly even PvP builds, if you stack into this. Next up, we've got crafted sets. Obviously, no new crafted sets, but many of the existing sets have been updated for the better. Let's talk about mechanical acuity. And this is part of a bigger change where they're trying to remove percentage-based procs from the game as much as possible. So I believe it used to be maybe a 15% chance of proccing the mechanical acuity here, which is 100% critical chance, basically, on your character for 5 seconds. So now you no longer have a 15% chance to proc that. You just automatically proc it with an 18-second cooldown. So I can see this being very strong because now you have complete 100% control of this. You can have the full 5-piece set active on your back bar, proc, and then bar swap if you needed to. Now let's talk about Torag's Pact. This was always kind of a bizarre set because it had like health and armor and then spell damage. They've actually dropped the spell damage, making this basically a tank-focused set. And they've also increased the weapon enchantment potency. Now this is 45%. So tanks that are using this set with maybe a Crusher enchant, you're going to see even more effectiveness from that weapon enchant. And then the last crafted set that really caught my eye is Willow's Path. Now, this has always been a pretty decent set. Previously, it used to be 15% health, magicka, and stamina recovery. But now look at that, 25% bonus to all 3 recoveries. That is quite a lot of recovery. I could see this being very nice on some PvP builds, specifically Stamina Nightblade. Basically, any stamina class that uses magicka as well. This is going to be pretty powerful. All right, switching gears to Overland sets now. These, of course, are some of the easier sets to get in the game, and you'll be able to buy these on Guild Traders as well. And remember, all existing sets will be updated to the new stats. Starting off with Armor of the Trainee, this is actually an extremely interesting change and pretty beneficial for a lot of builds. Check this out. This is now a 3-piece set instead of a 5-piece, and it's unusual in that the 1-piece bonus is actually there For most other 3-piece sets like Willpower and Agility, there is no 1-piece bonus. You only get the bonuses starting at 2 pieces. So if you need to fill in a slot, let's say you're running a Mythic item and 2 5-piece sets, you can run 1-piece Armor of the Trainee and get all of that max health. And notice that they increased all of the pools as well. Those are not the normal default values, which are normally around 1,000 to 1,100. These are substantially buffed, about 1,450 for max health, magicka, and stamina. So pretty nice. Now, Bloodthorn's Touch is an old school light armor set. I know this has been used by some builds, especially in PvP, because you have the extra stamina sustain. But this got almost doubled in terms of the magicka and stamina that you're getting back. Every 5 seconds, about 1,000 back for both of those stats. I could see this being very nice for some hybrid builds potentially as well. And then my old favorite, Briarheart, is actually getting changed a little bit. I wouldn't say a buff necessarily, but the proc chance is going away. So this used to be, I believe it was 20% or 25% chance to proc. Now it just procs automatically every 15 seconds. So again, like Mechanical Acuity, you're going to have very good control over proccing that extra weapon damage and healing. So it's going to be nice. Next up is Deadwater's Guile. Now, I have used this in the past, but I believe that the 5-piece bonus here used to have a cooldown where you couldn't get that 15 ultimate as quickly as you'd like. Now, with what they've done with Deadwater, there is no cooldown at all. As long as an enemy dies within 2 seconds of being damaged by you, you're going to get the 15 ultimate back no matter what, and you can get all of that back instantly. So if you kill 10 mobs, instant 150 ultimate back. This is going to be a crazy set, you guys, in terms of maximizing your ultimate gen on classes like maybe the Necromancer, maybe the Nightblade, for some very powerful builds. Then we've got Griffin's Ferocity. I do like how they've updated this set. The stats have not changed, but the duration of the 5-piece bonus has. You now get Minor Force and Minor Expedition for 10 full seconds. I believe that used to be 3 seconds, so this is a very nice change. And then Swamp Raider. This is part of pushing those very focused, specific damage type sets to make them more powerful. This is something I've wanted for a long time, actually. And you can see Poison and Disease damage is now getting 600 extra weapon damage. I could see this being very strong in PvP on some specific builds, maybe a Stamina Nightblade Archer or a Stamina Warden bow build, because they have more of those specific damage types. And then going right along with that, Sword Singer also has now the 600 weapon damage, up from 400. That's specifically for two-handed abilities. So if you're running something like a Stamina Sorcerer in PvP, with the two-handed ultimate, with Dizzying Swing, with Reverse Slice, with Crit Rush, yeah, you can see where I'm going here. That's a lot of damage. And then, of course, War Maiden. I did use this on my recent solo Magicka Nightblade build, getting the same treatment, 600 spell damage to your magic-based abilities. This is going to be great for Magicka Nightblade, again, Magicka Templar, who have a lot of those magic damage skills. And then finally, Witchman Armor. I threw this in here because the buff that this got is absolutely insane. This went from being one of the worst Overland sets in the game, I would say, to maybe one of the best. When you use an ultimate ability, you heal for 57 health and restore 51 stamina and magicka per point of the ultimate's cost. So basically, you have the Dragonite Sustain passive thrown onto a 5-piece set. So for solo builds, maybe Maelstrom Arena builds, even PvP builds, I could see this being pretty nice. Moving right along to Dungeon and Arena sets, some nice updates here. Starting off with healing sets. Combat Physician is a light armor set from Wayrest Sewers. This used to be tied to just one specific target getting the damage shield. Now this set works on all targets with a separate cooldown for each. This will obviously be buffed by champion points as well. So this is going to be pretty nice for healers, specializing in damage shields. And then speaking of healers, the Lamia's Song set is also getting a very nice buff here. Look at the 5-piece bonus. When you use an ultimate, you and your group members heal for 28 health and restore 25 magicka and stamina per point of the ultimate cost. So a very nice healer sustain set right there. Noble Duelist is the light armor set from Blessed Crucible, and I did feature this on my recent Magicka Sorcerer solo build. This now has 2 spell damage bonuses. I believe these used to be stamina beforehand. And yes, the 5-piece bonus has also changed, you guys. It used to be very unusable where you had to dodge and attack in order to proc this damage. Now all you have to do is be in melee range with, let's say, your lightning staff on a Magicka Sorcerer, and you're going to get that buff automatically every 5 seconds. And this is one of the best heavy attack buffs in the game. It surpasses some of the other sets we're going to go over in a few minutes. So I definitely recommend you check this one out. Speaking of heavy attack sets, Undaunted Infiltrator is going to be changing as well. You might know this as the medium set. This was often used by Magicka heavy attack builds as well, like the Magicka Sorcerer, because it used to give you max Magicka. Now they are full-on converting this to a medium armor set. So just be aware of that. If you had one of those heavy attack Sorc builds, you might want to switch over to something else. Like I said, Noble Duelist looks very good. And then they are actually updating the Undaunted Unweaver set as well. This is the light armor set from Blackheart Haven. I use this on the Mag Sorc also. This is going to be very easy to proc on any light armor build, you guys, with skills like Beast Trap, because Beast Trap costs stamina. As long as you're running that, let's say, on your back bar for the Minor Force, you can get this very nice heavy attack buff. And the 2 through 4 piece sets are now perfect, Max Magicka and Spell Critical. Some nice changes to Maelstrom Arena sets as well. I'm talking about Parabellum, the medium armor set from Maelstrom. Actually used this on my recent solo Stamina Nightblade build, and this is a great survival set for medium armor builds now, you guys. Free damage shield every 10 seconds, and the shield is huge. Not to mention we'd get 2 max stamina bonuses and max health. I do like this set a lot for soloing. And then Permafrost, I did use this on a Magicka Sorcerer, since Sorcerers already have bonuses to health recovery. This did get buffed as well. The 5-piece now gives you 1100 health recovery when you have a damage shield active. That's absolutely insane. And a couple of nice medium armor sets that are looking very juicy. Pillar of Nirn from Falkrechthold. Look at that tooltip, you guys, on the 5-piece. This isn't even fully buffed with champion points. Almost 30,000 physical damage over 10 seconds, plus some upfront burst damage. Yeah, this is crazy. So keep an eye out for that one, maybe even in PvP. And speaking of PvP, Sheer Venom got a buff. I did not see this coming. Sheer Venom was already very strong. Now, instead of being exclusively single target, if you have AoE execute damage, like let's say Reverse Slice, in theory, you could proc this on multiple targets at once, making this even stronger for some PvP builds. I'll be checking this one out for sure. And then finally, Medusa. This one was unexpected, but a pretty nice change. As an alternative to Mother Sorrow for light armor DPS builds, you can see this is now full spell critical on all 5-piece bonuses. And the additional bonus is you get Minor Force at all times. That's the 10% critical bonus. So this is basically the Magicka version of the Zogvin Warband set. Though this is heavy armor, so you're going to have to run either 2 pieces of heavy and jewelry, or jewelry and a weapon if you want to make this work. But it is a nice alternative because you don't need to run Channeled Acceleration or Barbed Trap if you use Medusa. Finally, our PvP sourced sets, and what I mean by that is you either buy these with Alliance points or Telvar stones, though you can of course buy these on Guild Traders. And a lot of these apply to both PvE and PvP as well, so just keep that in mind. Powerful Assault, for example, really cool support set for PvE and PvP. This is almost doubled in strength now, 307 weapon and spell damage for 10 seconds. When you cast an Assault ability, that's most likely going to be Resolving Vigor. But yes, this did get a very nice buff on that 5-piece. And then for tank builds, Black Rose got a pretty impressive buff as well. The Constitution passive is now buffed by 60%. Very, very strong. And Ravager is one of my favorite solo sets right now, more so because a lot of classes now can proc this. For example, the new Stamina Sorcerer Crystal Weapon has an armor shred. You can very easily proc Ravager. Same thing with Stamina Nightblade, using Surprise Attack, very easy to proc Ravager. And with this fully procced, you have close to 600 weapon damage. Of course, that will be buffed by Major and Minor Brutality as well. So a very nice offensive set. And then finally, Vicious Death. I don't know why this got buffed, but bombers out there are rejoicing, I'm sure. You get now an extra 5-piece bonus, 1487 spell penetration, and the 5-piece burst damage there got buffed as well. 30,000 flame damage when you kill a player. That is pretty crazy. All right, and with that, we'll go ahead and wrap up the video. Those are the main sets that I'm taking a look at. Hopefully that is helpful to you. I know I've gotten lots of questions about Stonethorn sets in my recent build videos, especially my Magicka Sorcerer solo build. Hopefully that explains what's going on with some of these new and updated very powerful sets. Like I said, I'm changing a lot of my builds for Stonethorn, you guys. And I'm guessing a lot of you might be changing your builds as well. So if you're doing that, let me know in the comments below. I'd be interested in seeing those. Of course, if you liked the video, don't forget to crush that like button. And if you're new here, make sure you subscribe for more ESO videos just like this one. As always, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you're doing well. Stay safe, and I'll see you around in the next video.